It's outrageous, it's sickening, it's vomitous. He's supporting an actual genocide.
What are you gonna do for us? We are here today talking about the Democratic Party moving toward the neocons. And I'm pissed about that.
Please, someone nominate a non-lunatic, non-warmonger, non-corporate pleaser.
Healthcare is not even on anyone's radar in this election, okay? The opportunity to actually use the very temporary influence and power progressives had in this country was squandered. It was, and we're gonna talk about that later on the show. It was squandered, and now there is no discussion about improving our healthcare system. There is no discussion about any of the economic populist ideas that progressives purported to care about, but didn't fight for, okay? They fought for other things that ended up leading to a lot of backlash among the electorate. And that's why we are here today talking about the Democratic Party moving toward the neocons. And I'm pissed about that.
Yeah.
But I'm the right winger, right? I'm the right winger. I'm the right winger because I don't like the neocons, because I don't like the wars, because I want economic policies, not this garbage. The aesthetics of progressivism is far more important than actual progressivism, actual policies that lift people up, that actually help marginalized people across the board. Universal economic policies that do lead to increased wages and things like that. That stuff doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't matter. Now, Liz Cheney did the right thing once in her career by fighting back against what Donald Trump intended to do in overturning the 2020 presidential election. For that, she deserves credit. Her policies have been and always will be dog crap. And I don't want that to be absorbed into the Democratic Party, okay? You should want to support a party that actually represents your values.
They've gone massively right-wing, and it is not populist, it is pro-establishment, it is corporate media and corporate politicians saying, this party's ours. We want the Democratic Party, and we're in control of the Democratic Party. So it's a fair criticism to say, then Cenk, why are you even voting for that? Because the other guy says, hey, if I don't like my vice president, he should be murdered, and we should terminate the Constitution. So please, someone nominate a non-lunatic, non-warmonger, non-corporate pleaser. But America, because bribery is legal, that is near impossible.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have, but I also do know that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries. They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist.
It's totally phony, and she is a coward, and honestly, she disgusts me on this issue beyond belief. And my biggest issue with it's not just Kamala Harris, it's just the Democratic Party overall, right? They have no vision for the future. They don't feel like they need to really think anything through. All they hang their hat on, election cycle after election cycle, is Trump bad, he's a fascist. I mean, she immediately pivoted to he's a fascist. Immediately.
But look,
we've been hearing that same message for so many years now. And you need to give people more than Trump is a fascist. Believe it or not, people aren't buying it. They're just not. Clearly the electorate isn't buying it. It's not a persuasive message. The Democrats are lazy as hell. They don't have a vision for the future. And honestly, if they lose, it is gonna be their fault. She was awful in this town hall.
Yeah.
It was wall to wall, Trump bad, Trump bad. I get it, I know Trump bad. What are you gonna do for us? I just don't think the Biden White House is really concerned about fascism. They're aiding and abetting what's going on right now in the Middle East, and they really have no leg to stand on. Like, that's the thing that I can't stomach, that they present themselves as, the beacons of democracy, the people who are really going out of their way to protect the people. How are they protecting the people? They're literally taking resources from the people in order to fund a government that is full to the brim with fascist politicians and literal terrorists, people who are considered terrorists by their own country. And you want to sit here and tell us we need to support you because there is a threat of fascism in our country. Come on, imagine having someone on the Democratic side who stands for the right issues, who wants to fight for the right things, and is actually authentic and doesn't come across as an empty suit that will say whatever the donors tell her to say. And that's the way Kamala Harris comes across.
Bill Maher and Scarborough and all those establishment guys put a whole bunch of policies in the woke basket and then say it's all terrible, right? So all the progressive policies, so this one, defund the police, etc. But then they throw in Medicare for all and higher wages and all these things. And so wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't even know what Bill Maher thinks is core Democratic policies. Because whenever you have a progressive who fights for those core Democratic policies, like more healthcare, better wages, Bill Maher and Joe Scarborough crap all over them. Like Bernie 26, forget 2020, 2016, pure economic populist. He wasn't woke, there was none of that stuff. All there was universal health care, higher minimum wage, etc. And Bill Maher was like, no, not Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Woke, no, I hate him. Joe Scarborough, hate him. Chris Matthews, he's gonna execute people in the streets. That was in 2020, etc. So you guys are all liars. You don't want any of those policies. So if you do, well, show me one Democrat you've ever supported who actually fought for any of those policies. No, you always support the Democrat who fights against those policies. And the reason that they're not having a real honest critique of Kamala Harris is not because Kamala Harris is too woke or too anti-woke, it's because she's a cheesy establishment politician who goes where the wind is blowing.
Exactly.
So before, when she thought being progressive was hot, she said, oh yeah, I'm the most progressive. Oh yeah. I'm gonna defund everything and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, right? And now that it's not popular, she's like, oh, hey, I'm not gonna do that, no way, right? So Bill, which Kamala Harris are you in favor of? Because you can't be in favor of both of them, right? But you also won't be honest with your audience and say she's a cheesy, standard establishment politician who doesn't have any actual opinions. Her only opinions are what the donors say and what the polling says. Oh, right, Bill's one of her donors. Oh, which leads me to the third issue. He also puts in the woke basket Palestine.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right. Those peace protester kids, they don't know anything.
Yep.
If they knew everything, they would know that Israel is the greatest country on earth. And I'm not gonna vote for any of those woke politicians who care about human beings and Palestinian children being starved to death. Who cares about them? Only woke people care.
Palestinian is a syndrome. It's a mental illness. It's a universal phenomenon. And Cenk is the perfect example. And if he gets hungry eventually, I will not be surprised that he will eat his own children. You are a parasite, a bottom feeder. This is what you are.
Palestinians provided a safe haven for Armenians who were forced out of Armenia during the Armenian genocide. I know this because my maternal ancestors ended up in Haifa. My maternal grandmother was born in Haifa. And anytime she talked about what it was like being a Christian Armenian in Haifa at the time, she had nothing but positive things to say about the Palestinian people for welcoming the Armenian refugees, for giving them a home, and for protecting them. So I'm sorry, anytime I hear people dehumanize Palestinians as violent, dangerous animals, it makes me sick, okay? It makes me literally want to vomit. There have been a lot of different elements of this ongoing war that have shocked me, especially in regard to how little the US government seems to care about Americans, because we have now seen many Americans get killed as a result of how Israel is prosecuting this war, whether it be, a young Turkish American who was in the West Bank, she got killed, whether it be American journalists who have gotten killed as a result of how Israel is prosecuting this war, and the American government doesn't care. They barely even want to release a statement about it. The only time they will say anything about it is if a journalist does his or her job and presses a State Department official about it during a press conference. That should be concerning to the American people. Not only are we funding the atrocities that are currently being carried out in the Middle East by Israel and the IDF, we're also risking the lives of the men and women in our armed forces as they're being sent there to defend Israel, as it's behaving belligerently and committing all these war crimes. But Americans who are in the region have already been killed by the IDF, and our government doesn't care at all.
I want to correct you. I don't just condone the actions of the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli government. I celebrate and laud them. Israel is being more meticulous in the conduct of this war than any army in human history, and certainly than the United States Army in its vast role in the history of urban combat. That is uncontested.
He's definitely lying. He's lying on purpose because he thinks killing Palestinians is no big deal. He's pretending that they have the best civilian to military kill ratio. The exact opposite is true. They have the worst civilian to military kill ratio, worse than the terrorists, worse than any other conflict. They've killed more journalists than any other conflict. Do you know that they've killed more journalists, 128 of them, than any conflict since 1992? Why? Because if you saw how they're butchering the Palestinians, you would not believe the outrageous lies and propaganda by people like Ben Shapiro, who go, oh, we're the most moral army. Who cares if we slaughter Palestinians? 11,000 kids. They're not Israeli kids. They're just Palestinian kids. Since they're not Israeli, Ben Shapiro couldn't care less. And he's saying they didn't slaughter them enough. Sick. This is a core moral issue.
It really
where
is.
he's a deeply immoral person. So deeply immoral. He's talking after the giant military, the Goliath of Israel, has crushed the Palestinians and already killed 2,400 people in Lebanon, twice October 7th, already in Lebanon.
In Lebanon alone,
right?
Yeah.
And they're like, who cares? Lebanese lives, Christian lives, Muslim lives, Arab lives. Who cares? We're the most moral army. It's outrageous, it's sickening, it's vomitous. You look, he's supporting an actual genocide right now. So, and all that never again talk, it turns out he meant never again for us.
Exactly.
For you, as long as it helps us take land and have more control, we'll do it to you over and over and over again. 57 years of brutal occupation, Ben, and you don't give a damn. You kind of like it, don't you, Ben? Oh yeah, we get to lord over them now. Who's in charge now, right? You feel powerful? You piece of crap. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.